This is Brother Chairman Mal right here, so I don't want to go get the program. But I just want to, I know we could talk about equipment for days. You know, we could talk about, you know, go computer nerd, you know, because there is a nerd within, you know. Yes. And I think it's important to have one, you know, because I think my inner nerd encourages me to keep learning and to never stop being a student of this life. And that's where playing comes in, because from play comes joy, right? There's not no, you know, from playing comes joy. And so whatever it is that we play, whatever that we use to communicate, whatever, you know, medium of this expression that we are blessed to have here, you know, I think the primal focus is to be in a place of joy, you know, and to be in a place of contemplation about where we're headed, our direction, you know, and then that's when the music can become medicine, okay? And I think that's what I want to come share with everybody today. Because I think it's something that is lacking, so I'm calling out to everybody who had a slight interest, even if it was just a hint of interest as to what we was going to come discuss today. I've seen a lot of people out through the week. I just thank you for being here, everybody, you know. And I just want to just have this as a moment to call out to you guys as artists, and to alert you as to, you know, us being a medical unit today, you know.
Can I give you guys a formal and official
intro? Yeah, that's fine. But thank you guys for being here.
Our lecturers this afternoon are known individually as being very creative and original voices. They have very, well, I don't know how recently, they'll tell you, joined together to form another original and creative voice, and they have a lot of things they want to share today. So won't you please welcome Miss Georgia Ann Muldrow and Dudley Perkins, otherwise known as G&D. Thanks for being here. How you guys doing today?
It's nice, enjoying it, you know. It's like a good vacation to come to the school, you know. This is a school, so, you know, I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad to even be here, you know. My girlfriend brought me to the Red Bull, so I'm chilling on the Red Bull couch.
I want to get to all of the things you were mentioning, as far as, you know, what you want to put forth in what you're making musically. But I also want to touch on a little bit of how you guys got together. You know, I think, you know, people may be familiar with your records individually, and, you know, we can also go into that too. But how did you guys form together to start doing what you do now?
We formed together through love. Truly, I think through love, because the day we met, we never separated. Yeah. And, you know, I'm a studio kid. He's a studio kid. We don't ever be out of the studio. That's where we live. That's our life. That's my life before I met him, before I met anybody. I was, you know, you had to throw a rock at my window because I had headphones on. So, you know, that's what you did, you know, and I'm sure the same for Dudley. They'd be in the garage riding with his peoples that are now doing beautiful things, you know. So when our lives came together, when our lives merged, we was in the studio together, you know. And it's just been a blessing to watch it all unfold, you know.
Well, maybe provide a little bit of backdrop of why you were such a studio, you know, a studio kid. Why were you in it? What got you into the music in the first place?
Because I was always in the studio, from being a little kid, because both my parents recorded records. They were session artists.
What did they do for those who do not know?
Yeah, my mother, she's a songwriter, singer, choir, voice arranger, artistic director. She does it. Anything that she's mama. You know what I'm saying? I love my mama, you know, and
she's kind of our boss too.
Yeah, she's boss. But yeah, you know, beautiful woman, always having messages in her music, you know, and I got a chance growing up seeing her come from her spiritual jazz background, but also to make a living going into the secular world, to make her living, you know, singing at the townhouse, singing at these smoky clubs, singing on the, you know, the sidewalk cafes and all that, being in the high chair, singing that, being in smoky chairs in the high chair, you know, in smoking clubs in the high chair, you know. Yeah. Seeing what she had to do, you know, but she was playing her music. She had a drum machine and a piano and do her thing, you know. And a lot of that has to do with why I'm called to perform, you know what I'm saying? Because I see the feeling, you know, the feeling that she always brought with her, you know. And same thing with Pops, you know, he was always in the session, you know, playing with anybody, you know, who was needing a guitar player, he played, you know. But he drew his line, you know, because he wanted to play his music, you know. So there was a difference in that. But at any rate, as far as being in the studio, that was something that they would take us along for that. They'd take me and my brother along for that because they both wanted us to be in the music very much, like very much.
And your dad was a player with Eddie Harris, amongst others?
Eddie Harris, Roy Haynes, rest in peace. You know. Oh, he's still here. He's still with us? That's a blessing. For real? Because my mama said that he had passed. Okay, Brother Roy, you know what I'm saying? Love your plan. Keep on, man. You are alive and well. We knew that. Thank you, brother. Need that information. I know a lot of people are going to be brightened. Their day is going to be bright.
A lot of people that it affected them. So
yeah, because it affected me. I was in I've been in it. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Can we clap? Can we clap for that? Okay. Okay. All right. Ooh.
And your mom is sang with Pharoah Sanders.
Yeah. Yeah. With you know, Mongo Santa Maria. You know, just that whole part of the conscious spiritual, you know, journey. You know, my father was real close friends with Kenny Kirkland. You know, all of them brothers, man. I guess when they was, you know, my mom and my dad, they met in New York, but that's all small talk to me. You know what I'm saying? But they, you know, beautiful. They surrounded. They made a conscious decision to surround us with things to educate ourselves with, you know, and to things for us to be aware of, you know. We'd have copies of Stolen Legacy just on the table, you know, or, you know, in the bookcase I could find Know Thyself, you know. And I think that's been the greatest inspiration for, you know, me meeting Dudley, if you want to know the truth, because it has something to do with me living in integrity with what I educated myself with, you know, and Spirit brought him into my life. And now we work together to, you know, inspire other people to use their works and to use their art as the salve for what's really happening with our human nation, you know. And it's just an honor to be here because, you know, it's honoring to think that somebody want to ask you about your life. And it's always something that I get real cagey about because I just think, who am I, man? I ain't nobody, you know. And I'm honored by that, bro. And you know, thank you for having me here and for you guys to hear me go on and on about some stuff y'all some of y'all probably don't even know me, you know. So, you know, thank you for just being here to listen and, you know, hopefully we can all learn together, you know.
Dudley, what do you want to what did you see and hear in Georgia that you know compelled you to work with her?
For a minute when I first met her, the label was sort of like asking us to do music. They wanted female presence on one of my records. So you know, I went through a few females listening to their music and stuff, and then I never really paid attention to her music except once in the car. So I was like, let me meet her first. So I called her to come to a show and stuff like that, and we hung out for a minute. And I really wasn't still paying attention to the music. I was like, okay, you know, just doing what the label said. And I was like, oh, this person's trippy. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
electrical tape on the shoe.
A lot of the things she had in her mind was a lot of the questions that I was asking the universe myself, you know. And I was putting it out on records for a few years of, you know, the questions I had for myself, you know. And then we got into a conversation about these questions. You know? So it's a bond sort of happened right then and there. Like, okay, we have a message, sort of like a joint message, sort of like, you know. And then after a while, showing me music, I'm like, you know, I'm a b-boy, you know, girl making beats, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool, do what you do, you know what I'm saying? Okay, but it wasn't, you know, I wasn't really hearing the beats. I never really got that deep in my head like a female could make beats like that. I didn't know the whole existence of it. You know, I was still getting used to them breakdancing, to women breakdancing, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's how, in America, that's how we're brought up in a way, you know? Like some women don't do certain things men do, you know? Like when women started bodybuilding and stuff like that. But back to what I was saying. But after a while, you know, at later on night, you know, she had a laptop that she always carried with her. So one day I had the headphones on. She was asleep. I'm going through the headphones, you know. I'm like, oh, that's funky right there. So then there was a whole folder of, you know, because I know the music she does that she does for her album and stuff. I was like, okay, that's that flowery, good girl music. You know what I'm saying? It's funky,
I had a folder called
music.
Money Joints.
And I looked in the money
and
folder.
I never listened to it after I made it. I just feel ashamed.
You know, I finished about 2 blunts. By the time I'm 2 blunts, I'm in full freestyle to these beats. You know, I'm like, hey, what's up with these? So I wake her up, what's up with all this right here? She goes, those are easy. I was like, okay, make the easy ones. I need the easy ones. And then I realized and then I used to see her do this little head dip. I'm like, okay. I did the head dip one day. I said, okay, I just had to really just allow it and really acknowledge that music comes from all kind of people. Because to me, honestly, it was Madlib. I wouldn't hear nothing from nobody. I'm like Madlib the bad kid with the beats. And I wouldn't try to go nowhere else because I was just, for sure, he was the main guy God gave us for beats. And then, but when I met Georgia, it allowed me to listen to all range of music. And the music range just opened up. And so her opening up that range of music for me has allowed me to grow. So it was a blessing in disguise, you know, just like, here, listen to this too, you know? So now, and then, in fact, that's taken an effect in a whole spectrum of my life. Like a whole realm of my life has opened up because of that, to how I see a lot of other things, you know? Oh. Like a lot of prejudices have gone, like honestly just poof, gone, completely gone, you know? Egos and everything just gone, you know? Honestly, Georgia's a spiritual person, and she comes from spiritual people, like big time. In America, very big spiritual place where they are at, and it's no joke, you know? And to where we might not seem it, but hey, we have messages for y'all, and the world needs to listen to what Georgia has to say, because her heart is true and open, like them Gandhi people and stuff like that. Hey, no joke, man. I'm witnessing it, you know.
So I guess with this new record that you guys have put out under G&D, you know, what is the overall thing you want to get across with this project?
I think G&D is just like, it's like how they say a bell, for it to be a bell of remembrance, you know, like how it's time to go to school, or it's time to breathe in and breathe out. I want the CD to be a bell like that, or this piece of music, you know. Before it was a CD, the idea was for it to be an alarm for people to go within, you know, because it wasn't that was what was happening within us, you know. There was alarms going off in us to go within, you know, through life, you know, drinking, you know what I'm saying, and becoming, saying, hey, this is getting old, going out, this is old, there's something more that needs to happen up in this piece, you know, up in this vessel, you know, and so as it was happening to us, we was like, hey man, we would wish for this for our closest friends to go through a growth like that, so that there wouldn't be a sense of alienation or a sense of exclusivity, you know what I'm saying, for this sound, this certain sound that we produce, you know. And so that's why we call the album Universa, you know, and it's Universa, mean universal in Ebonics. Okay, it's Universa, you know what I'm saying, and that's the message. It says message, you know what I'm saying, Universa, and we just sharing that through this humble vehicle, you know what I'm saying. The music is like, you know, you can't, not yet. No one's found the correct patch yet. Okay, because I'm not saying that it's impossible, but to this point where we are right now, there has not been a synthesizer that has been able to stop a bullet. Not to say that it's impossible. I believe it's possible. You know, that's my life's work. You know what I'm saying? And because I know they're working with like magnetic force right now up in New Orleans. That's how they was terrorizing the people of New Orleans during Katrina. That's how they was terrorizing us with sound. So I want to have something that can counteract that balance, because sound doesn't stop traveling. Okay, so that's why we made this record, you know what I'm saying, as a counterbalance to that. But it's more than the record. It's actually our context for living that we change. You know what I'm saying?
Well, can we play something from the album?
Oh, sure.
Share a little bit of that to give an example
Yeah,
for
of
everybody
course.
here.
Yeah, thank you, y'all. These speakers, oh,
You like how that
good
sounds?
sound, man. Good sound.
You know what it tells me though? That us men better step our games up, because when that realm opened up, in fact, I went to all these women's pages making beats and stuff, and it was huge. Like all of them got more equipment than the men do, you know. And the fact is, you know, we've given a lot of our work away to the ladies. Like, here, do this for me, here, do this, and they ran a lot of companies. They know what they're doing. You women know what you're doing in this music right now. I've seen it. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's true, you know.
That's right. Give me a
Well, there's
It's like it's. I think the women are getting back for being written out of the Bibles and stuff, you know.
So what do you
Y'all didn't catch that one, huh?
what did you want to say about this song as far as?
I think just what we was discussing earlier, just about
Well, I guess the skit. You know, what do you
Yeah,
want to say about the skit?
the skit?
That prefaced it, and then the song, and you know, what was going on there?
yeah,
and-
it's just about like what we said about the alarm. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, it's just the alarm to do right that goes off in your head. It's like, okay, let's do right. You know, and I think that's what that skit's about, you know, about starting anew and just tightening up your game, you know, in whatever you're doing. And that's why I ended with God unit, you know, like, okay, it's time to assert our true nature within in whatever we're doing, you know, and that's all it is, you know.
Now, speaking of nature,
Yes.
right? Maybe go through the process of where you guys were, where you were inspired. What environment were you in to inspire you to make some of the music that's on this project? Where were you guys
Oh, yeah.
Because you guys were both in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Set the scene for us. What was
Oh,
going on in
yeah.
your lives and where you went in order to find this place to make this what we're listening to.
A very small space, yet a very big space. We were in a place in the Santa Monica Mountains called Topanga, and it's up in the hills, like way up. It's in the National Reserve Park, so it's the wildlife that lives there come first, you know, and it's just like a beautiful place. Yet where we live, one room, a studio apartment. We had kind of grown accustomed to that because we just was living in one room. That's just how we kept it, you know. Real humble. You know, a recording studio was in the same place the kitchen was, in the same place where the futon was, so guess, and that's where we sleep, and then there's the bathroom. You know? And but when you open up the door, that's when you could look over and see all just what was untouched by city, you know, city ambition, and a beautiful place, full of nature. So I was real inspired by that rhythmically, you know. Hummingbirds inspired me rhythmically. Beautiful sound. Always there to talk to you, wake you up if you overslept. You know, just building relationships with different, you know, like more than it just being like, you know, different people, but just like different expressions of life, you know, was beautiful. The plants up there start talking. You go like, okay, you know, I don't care if people call me crazy after a minute, because this is beautiful, you know. And you know, that's where we were when we made that music right there. That song right there, that's where we were, you know, and I got a chance to just let my ears decompress and I could hear sound. And there was enough room, if I kept my windows open, enough room for the whole sound wave to be itself. Because I just learned, like, maybe a month ago that, like, a sound wave is bigger than the room that we in. You know, just because you hear it from a small radio speaker don't mean that the wave ain't like 10 feet tall, you know? Like sound, what we dealing with to produce is huger than we really kind of perceive it, you know? But like these waves is huge, you know? And I think having the chance to let it open out over the mountain, you know, you get a chance to hear what the music truly sounds like, you know?
Now, but what about, you know, this sort of ringing the bell and what you're talking about as far as inspiring and awakening? But you guys have said, or you hinted at, that you experienced some kind of awakening yourselves.
Yeah.
So what was going on in your lives before, you know, where were you living before, and what was going on, and what made you decide to change?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really where I was before, real just club kid type thing, you know, and you know, real living just in the moment, you know, raw freedom, you know, this crazy living, drinking too much, you know, smoking weed with the wrong mindset, you know what I mean? Like smoking weed, like that'd be my church time in the midst of everything else. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? You know, just living real hard, but at the same time, like living hard and working hard, you know, even in those moments where I was acting a dang fool, right? I still would have my prayer time. And I found out that every time I had my prayer time, there was a bass in my hand, you know? And it just became time to record that stuff, you know? And so I always got my music done. I always, like, when I was at my lowest point, just karmically, you know what I'm saying? Like things that you bring upon yourself, you know, promises you break, you know, times where when you come up short, you know, when you face the karma of what's happening in that point, like when I was facing the point when that was happening in my life, what brought me up out of all that funk and let me take a step up to a better place in my potential was music. And it was a melody that came out of nowhere, you know, and that's where, you know, the Worth Nothing's music came from, and the CDs like that. And
that was very therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
I guess set, you know, just as backdrop.
Yeah.
What, you know, for those who haven't heard, maybe haven't heard the EP and the album, what was going on with you personally that led to those records? Same
deal. It's like that was the beginning. That was the beginning when I became okay with acknowledging what was going on in my human state. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Worth Nothings was about, because at that point in time, I had some opportunities in the industry or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
You moved to New York?
Yeah. I was living there too. And I was inspired by the music there. You know, subway trains is music, and, you know, all of that kind of thing. Real heavy, you know, jazz music over there. A lot of the elders is still teaching over there, which is really beautiful, you know. Influenced by a lot of that. But most of it was really just knowing that it was okay to be myself, you know, through all of that. You know, it's really knowing that that is the gift of the expression, not how much money you can make or how industry standard your stuff sound. You know, it's about you being yourself, you know. And that's how the whole Worth Nothings concept came about, you know, because I wasn't worried about making money with my style or my profile. You know what I'm saying? So there was less to lose. You know what I'm saying? It was less, you know, you can go out, you could do some crazy stuff, but no, if you're gonna do that out music, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be rice.
Do you wanna share anything from that era as well? You know, anything that you have?
Do I have anything from there? Like, would I carry it with me if I could? This way. No, I didn't carry it. Oh, y'all got some? Oh, man. y'all kept it true. Oh,
I think so.
Thank you. great. That's great. I haven't even heard this stuff in a while, so this is gonna be.
What do you want to play?
You played. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I kept it real. Oh man, I am so inspired by that. Thank you. I'll play this one. This one is called Larva.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, okay, so now you got a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have a caterpillar too, right? And before that, before the caterpillar, you got a larva. Okay, so that's what I was saying to myself, in my personality, and how immature I was acting. That's what this counts for. Like this, how recognizing I have a long way to go, and dealing with fear.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me use this computer. I appreciate that, man.
So you seem to, you don't carry this music around with you anymore, at least not today.
No, not.
So how do you regard this part of your past and your catalog? You seem to have some disdain for it right now.
No, not even like that. Not even. Oh, I do. Oh, have
Maybe
mercy.
a little
Man.
bit.
Do I have a disdain? No, that's fine. It's just one of those things where, you put your heart on the plate. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what you do. So it's just it's a thing like that. So, I don't even know if it's disdain. It's just one of the things you get that utter shyness, boom, boom, it's there, But I'm thankful that I made that music, I'm thankful for it, because, I'm still accepting that it's me making, Dudley's teaching me that I'm making this music, because for the longest time I'd be like, I didn't make it. Because I really know that there's another spirit inside of me that doesn't speak English, that doesn't speak interviews or nothing like that don't speak in material possessions or nothing like that, that makes the music, and I consider that's the elders of rhythm. That's the ancestors that's trying to communicate, and, when I think about worth nothings and everything, I feel like, that was my first attempt, at, getting all the ideas out. And I listened to it, but I still feel like it was too personal, like it was a personal record. It was just too much for about myself and my ego tripping, So that's if there was any disdain felt, it was probably from there,
Dudley, how do you regard your past catalog as well? Like, what are your feelings? You went from being the B-boy,
Oh, I'm always that for till I die. But, my past catalog, y'all could get it if y'all ask me for it on MySpace.
Yeah, I'll give it. If y'all want Worth Nothings too, I'll give you free.
That's something I did. It's just that. It's in the past. I can't really do nothing about that. Whatever it's done and whatever it will do, if it continues to do anything,
Yeah, you put your heart there.
I just put my heart there. So, but some of the past things I did, I've been trying to speak a message through my music since day one. The day I said I dropped records, I will have a message for the people. And I had to sneak it on there a little bit by being full-fledged B-boy at first, and plus the crew I was with and stuff. But my mission has been a message for the music. I mean, if you're gonna do music, what would be the greatest thing to use it for? A message for people, to help heal, to reach out with people, to introduce yourself. You're gonna introduce yourself. You're not gonna sock them in the eye, You're gonna shake their hand or hug them, So that's what I do with my music. I introduce myself to the world through my music. And it just so happened that this human being right here, George, was on the same mission, so I just said, two hits is better than one right now, so let's go get them for reals. Let's really see if we could cause peace through music, because hip-hop is a big platform, In fact, music is a big platform. It's just that people tend to get caught up in the glamour and glitz and the money thing of it, and the getting equipment, man, because, equipment is equipment. You bang drums on 2 garbage can lids, you're going to get where you got to go with the music, you know what I'm saying? But it's what you put into that music and how far it transcends and who it reaches and what it does when it reaches these people. If it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, hey, you need to check what you're listening to. If it don't make you want to go out and help and be a servitude to humanity, check what you're listening to. And if it has nothing to that, throw it away. Because it ain't of a good place. It ain't from a good space. I guarantee you. Anything that's supposed to help is good. You know, that's no joke. We all know that. You know, you wouldn't play some of this music, dark music, to your children, would you? You know, heck, no. Some people do. You know, to keep their kids quiet. You know, they put them in front of TV. You know.
Well, do you draw a line between a cathartic music that might have some darkness in it and something that is dark?
Well, hey, I'm a warrior of the light, so, you know, if it's dark, hey, I expose and remove regardless of what it is. You know, if you ain't talking about the divine spirits and the divine presence and why you breathe and what gives you that life, oh, man, I'm after you, you know, straight up. And everybody knows this. That's why they try to keep me out of the range of the music, but I still drop these records, and I'm going to show Georgia exactly how to drop these records in God's name. You can constantly do it. It's a never-ending flow of dropping records. Or however you want to get your message out, it's going to get there if it's from a divine source. I guarantee you. You know, whether it be a street corner, a show, or a vinyl or a CD. You talk, if that's your job and it's to to show people of oneness, hey, guess what? You got a good job because you're going to be able to, you got the tools for it. They're there. There can't nobody stop you. I'm guaranteeing you that, you know?
That's right. That's right.
So your goal is really, you mentioned like ego and, you know, that, but is it to create an egoless sort of creation as far as what you're putting out there? Is that one way to put it?
Yeah, that's one way. I think so. And I think that also is just like how what we were saying in the beginning, just to acknowledge our function as medics in this time. Because, you know, all music, whether you speaking on some light or speaking on some super slack, you know, whatever, you know, it's all up to you. It's gonna make somebody happy. It's a medication for somebody. So it's like, so while we at this music, to know that we in this play and to maintain the spirit of joy. And when you really are in the spirit of joy, you're not thinking about yourself. You're not saying, I'm joyful. You're not, that's that fake joy that somebody say on, you know, in the valley, you know. But you know what I'm saying? But like when you're in your joyful, you just glowing and you just feel like everything is just coming together for a good reason. You know, and the ego is burnt up in that fire. It is burnt in that fire, you know?
Well, let's play some other examples of stuff from G&D
Sure.
that you want to share.
Sure. Let me go see what's happening up in our right. Play.
Which one are you looking for?
And what we wanted to do with that was to really just through the whole record, we was seeking to have something that was just straight to the heart, you know? Because if you heard the difference between that and the other stuff, it's like, you know, before there was like a whole bunch of white noise, static, you know, because I was into, you know, static, you know, chaos of order and the order of chaos. You know what I'm saying? With this, we made our minds up. You know, like, okay, this is going to be a deliberate effort towards something that is positive. You know, like this is a positive effort. You know, there's many efforts and all types of efforts, you know, but this one, and all of them are beautiful, you know, for their own reasons because they all teach. But what we wanted to do was a positive effort, you know, and I with my heart, I want to simplify my ideas and to see how much I could distill out of just keeping it straight, you know, playing more straight ahead, you know. Yeah. And it made the coolest chemistry ever because I learned it's all about your expression. You can never hide your expression. No matter what you do, no matter what you dress like, what you talk like, you know, where you live or whatever, you know, your expression is always itself, you know. So even if you play the same chord as the next man, it's going to be your special way, you know. And so as far as when you say egoless music, that's what a lot of that had to do with making this music, you know, as far as just making, you know, not worrying about making it a 13th chord every harmony and having it, you know, all just swirly, you know, Sun Ra orchestra every time. you know, and if it's not meeting that capacity, it don't go on tape. That's how it used to be. If it ain't that, it ain't gonna be on, you know, we gotta be on the next thing, you know. And then it's like, you know, where we are, that's it, you know. What's next is not important right now, you know. What is important. It just, if we magnify the beauty that's there, you know. So I just went one note at a time. Okay. That, you know, it's so many words, right? Too many words.
So now Dudley had said when we were in the other room, like, you know, there's not been really any duos, you know, putting something like this in a while. Was there anybody that sort of you look to from your musical influences that might have helped you inspire you guys as well?
Well, I mean, we listen to a lot of Bob Marley, John Lennon, you know. I actually listen to only music that helps. I'm being real, man. I can't stand anything else, you know. It ain't about my preference or what I can stand or whatever. It's just what makes me feel better and what gets me going a little bit, you know. So, and it really is just any artist who was speaking from the cosmos, you know, who was speaking from another place, another source, you know. And you know who they are, man. They tell you right then and there. They speak about it in their music, about the stars and space and stuff, you know, about religions and spirituality and stuff like that. They're peppered all throughout us, you know. A lot of them become very famous, Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know what I'm saying? But there's some that's hidden, you know, like, who will be hidden for, you know, well, you know, John Lennon ain't hidden. That dude, they had to take him out because that's another thing too, you know. When you get to a point in music, I do think music can get, it's for a certain point you're supposed to reach, like of causing complete harmony in the hearts of man, you know, and that's what music is for. That's why in all the books, religion and stuff, they talk about harmony and all that, and harps and stuff, angels with harps and stuff like that. Music has, there's a peak to music, which is causing complete harmony in the heart, you know, like they say when you know, what's that philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, you know truth when it rings like the strings of a harp, you know. They always use these musical terms and spiritual go hand in hand, you know. So I guess, yeah, that's right. My bad, man, because I don't talk about nothing else. There's kids dying right now, so you know what I'm saying. And a lot of us go do things about it. We protest until the sun goes down, you know, like I'm saying. But you know, it's hard for me to speak on anything else other than that. So right now I'm trying to bend myself, and I know Georgia is trying to give you guys what you guys want to talk about. But right now, there's not really much to talk about if you're talking about being true with music or anything, you know, because there are babies being killed right now. So, and I can't fit straight with that happening, you know. I don't know why, you know, it's not my fault. Maybe it's because of that music I've been listening to. You know, it opened up something real crazy, but yeah. But if I did pick an influence, Father George. He speaks about the cosmos better than anybody. George Clinton, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't think y'all meant I said George Bush, right? George Clinton, you know, he accepted his birthright, who he is, you know, basically by speaking exactly from where he was from. Dog star, atomic dog, you know what I'm saying? The dude's from another planet, you know what I'm saying? And he ain't afraid to show it, you know? Michael Jackson, another planet. You know, he's so much from another planet, he almost caused oneness to happen. They had to shoot him some way. Think about it. How would this, you know, all the stuff they put on this guy and stuff like that? The dude's actually a great guy, you know what I'm saying? Look what the stuff he did. He's a light. You know, somebody that bright, they got to shut it down, or it messes up everything that's going on. You know, your electric companies might falter because of somebody speaking like that. You know, the way your daily life will change when somebody's speaking like that. Because businesses fall when there's a man speaking that we are all one. You know, don't let these bodies fool you. You're all connected by some way, air. You know what I'm saying? You guys got the same color stuff underneath, you know, just live in a different part of the country. You probably came from a different planet in the solar system, but we all came here to be together, you know? And when somebody speaks on that, that disrupts the circuitry of technology and man, you know? They can't go to NASA no more because we want to go too then. Hey, buddy, if we are all one, can't we go too? You know? So that's where, you know, when people speak like that in music, that's who I listen to. I listen to people who ain't afraid to tell where they're actually from. Man, we had to come through something to get here in the first place. That's proof enough, you know, that we're spiritual beings completely through and throughout, and we forgot about this. And the more people do less creative things like copycat music, you know, like on the radio, if you listen to the radio, all the music is the same. As they use the camel tactic, you know, the camel cigarette tactic to aim it at the children. And then the grown folks figured that out, so they make the music into like the little singy song things for the kids to just sit there with their mouth open on TV, listening and wanting a chain, you know, not realizing there's a kid his age whose arms are chopped off for trying to feed his kid from the chain, you know what I'm saying? And that this, you know, I speak of this because, you know, American society, everybody points a finger, you know what I'm saying? But people, when they point fingers, it's happening to them also, or it's about to. I see a lot of things happening now that's happening to us about 10 years ago here, you know, so I'm like, oh, that's what y'all get for pointing fingers. You know what I'm saying? You're busy, every country, but they don't realize that, hey, our influence was that powerful because we allowed oneness to happen for a moment in time to where everybody looked at that like that's the place to be, you know? But that was a secret society thing popping off that had to do with all other kind of people. You got to realize if something had to be started by murder, that might not be a good place to be at. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere. You know, if somebody had to lose their life had to take a life to inhabit someplace when the people are actually saying, here, come and share with us. We come here, eat our corn too. No, pow, I'll take your corn. And people want to come here and see that, you know, a mirror image effect has just happened, you know. Australia, the same way, you know. Every country right now, even third world countries, you know, nobody is immune to it. And it shows and proves we are all one. One country get angry, the other country get angry. You know, just like in a household with children, you know what I'm saying? There's always fighting going on amongst the children, but they love each other because they realize they came from the same source, you know. We still love each other. Any human being see any other human being in their right mind, and if he's on the ground bleeding, even in war, if they don't pick that person up, they're straight demonic. And I ain't talking about no pitchforks and stuff like that. I'm talking about they just got a bad spirit, you know, and them the ones that need healing. So I figure like now, I'm in a state right now, America is falling, yeah. We do music and stuff. So me and Georgia right now are giving messages, pure messages, actually was going to give our music away for free. You know, and when I say we'll give some away, hit me up on MySpace, I'll give it to you. I'm not tripping, you know. I don't see money off of this stuff, this music like that, you know. It's like me charging for water, you know what I'm saying? I speak for the truth for people and I speak for God. And now I have a co-pilot. No, I have another captain on the ship with me with our mission right now, you know. And our mission is to do this, you know. This is probably the more different Red Bull session, you know, because everybody be hyped to tell what's inside their machine. I don't know what's inside them things. You know what I'm saying? I bet you she might know some things that's inside of there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the technical person, you know what I'm saying? I got an in-house engineer, you know? But it made me lazy, too. You know, like I don't really want to. You can do some music. I'm MySpace. You know what I'm saying?
So what about the song "Good Morning America" from your album? Do you want to play that? Because that sort of speaks to some of the things that you just mentioned.
That speaks to America culture.
So let's, which number is that?
11.
It's 11.
It's funky right here, man.
So what was that we just heard?
Those two, man, I love those songs. That one that we just heard right there was called War Drums. And that song's just emotional. Like all of it was just purely from the heart, just from the music. Just where we was gonna take it from the beginning, and I just love the way it turned out. I can't, you know. I mean, because where we was coming from was just, it was beautiful. And one thing I wanted to share from the song before, the Good Morning America, was a concept about time I want to share. Because I know we're lecturing. You know what I mean? Before I hit my teeth with this mic again. Yeah, it's a habit that I love. But one thing I wanted to share with everybody about time and about quantization and things, okay? Because to me, there's more than when somebody is attempting deliberately to kill expression in all forms. When there is an assembly of people who are paid, because that's all it is. They paid to enforce, a certain status quo upon people, upon people who are unassuming and unsuspecting, sometimes there's a standard of living that's imposed on us, and I see in the music is where they attacked us, subliminally, and they is just the ones that do not know how to funk. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Because they got it in them. They just, they can't, some people hate on the funk. I don't know why. Not a lot of them, just a select few that own police stations. So, so I want to just talk about quantization and that being a form of colonial thinking, okay? Because everybody has a different sense of time because it's not really real, okay? Everybody has a sense of time, and that's the special part. That's the great part. That's the beauty of making music. Everybody has their own sense of music. So that's why everybody makes different music. And I don't want people to feel like, oh, there's people that walk around and say, oh, my drums are terrible, and, my chords, they're not where they need to be, and my harmonies are lacking, and, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I want people to be more kinder to themselves in this production stuff, man, because I know I could beat myself up real bad when it comes to making music, and that's what causes writer's block, the editing, editing what's not even there yet, and that's the same spirit that causes people to kill. That's the same spirit that causes people to steal, and that's the same spirit that causes people to feel helpless. It's the same spirit, like this victimhood. And, if you are privileged enough to be in front of a computer or something that generates a sound that could potentially cause peace in someone, be thankful, be joyful, and don't judge the ideas, Don't quantize it so that it can be a song you can use, Like, be real with the metronome, man. Do your work, The metronome is not a bad thing, okay? Metronomes are great because they teach you how to be on the one, and a metronome ain't a piece of equipment, A metronome is your heartbeat, Metronome is your footsteps through your own life, let that be the metronome. That's all I want to say, okay.
Now, Dudley, with a song like War Drums, I would think like
Be humble, you know what I'm saying? It's all love.
I would think that some of your own personal experience, you drew from as well, as far as your perspective. Do you want to speak on? You spoke on it on the radio a little bit. Do you want to speak on that a little bit as well?
On my personal experience.
On your personal experience, just as far as war and dealing with that.
My personal experience of war, and I do have a personal experience with war. I can speak on it. A lot of things I say in my music, a lot of magazines say that, oh, whatever, he's just talking a bunch of whatever, he's drunk. I don't drink anymore either, so they can't say that no more. But they put down a lot of things I say because I do speak it from, I've seen it. I've been to a war. I fought in Desert Storm. I was in the military. So when I do speak of certain things I say, I can speak it from a first-hand view. I've seen people blown up. I've seen bodies kindling. Like bodies actually kindling. It made my stomach hurt, to where every single day I was into the United States Navy, I was trying to get out because I knew I was going to have to go participate in war. I went in there because I needed a job. I was homeless. I'm like, I need something to do, I couldn't be just living in my sister's backyard in the shed, so I went and joined the military. I was too young when I got out of high school. I graduated from high school at 14 years old. So when I got out, my pops was hardcore, like, hey, you out of high school, you out of my house. So 14 years old on the streets in America is not a good thing. So you end up being in gangs and stuff and all that stuff, which did happen. So when I went to the military, it was like, a blind decision to be comfortable. You know, like, okay, I'm gonna have some money in my pocket, you know, and I'm not gonna sell dope and stuff like that, you know. I might have to give up weed, smoking weed and stuff, but you know, but when I went in there, I seen a lot of, you know, they don't, America, you guys don't see what really happens. You only see what CNN shows you, so it makes it seem like we're victims. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Both sides are victims, you know, but the thing is, the main victim out of this is the children. Where after you see a face open up of a baby, and the facial expression of the father holding the baby, it kind of makes you look at everything different. Like, murder is murder, no matter what. I know a lot of people got family over there who's fighting in the war and stuff like that. Murder is murder, you know, but on whatever side it comes from, whether it's religion-induced or manipulated by a government, you got to do this for your job or whatever, because a lot of people over there are doing that for job's sake, to send money to their home. You know, and then it gets the brainwash part. I know about the brainwashing in the military. I was brainwashed for a minute. But they couldn't brainwash me because I had a lighter edge of it. I was just like, whatever. You know, I like music. I know about God. I'm just doing this for a job. You know, I ended up getting kicked out after 2 years. You know, I got sent home a different way. I didn't come home with the, hey, everybody. Well, I got sent home on the jail ship. You know, I went to the brig and stuff. You know, I witnessed crazy stuff. They allowed the soldiers to do rapes and stuff. People get away with things in war. But like I say, my view on war is this: murder is murder, regardless of what kind and what form it is. You do not have the right to take somebody's spark, you know, because you didn't choose that spark. That human being chose that spark when they came here. They chose to come here. That spark is theirs. That creative spark is theirs to own and to have. When you take that from somebody, you are in a world of trouble, you know. But, you know, they say God forgives. But I don't know about that one. You know, I just can't see that. People getting away with just, you know, doing that. Even if it's on accident, you got to be careful, even to yourselves. And that's one of the other things also, is paying attention to yourselves and what you put in your own self, what you allow to be put into you. Yeah. You know, because if you put something into you, it could, chemical imbalance is chemical imbalance. Two things that ain't supposed to go together is going to cause a reaction, right? That's common sense, you know, and we do that constantly every day, you know. Down to two thoughts that ain't supposed to go together. That'll cause a reaction. That'll make things take form. You know, you got to be careful what you think about. We've thought this war into existence by not changing our thoughts. You change your thoughts, everybody else's thoughts is going to eventually change. People see you doing something different. Hey, that's cool. I'm going to do that too, you know. But if people see people going to joining military functions and stuff, that's cool. I'm going to do that too. Monkey see, monkey do. We're raised like that. You know, so it's really about rethinking about what we do, where we're from, our history, why we're here. First of all, realize we're water, you know, and water is ancient. So why would you want to kill something ancient? Yeah. You never know what kind of knowledge or wisdom is inside of that water drop that's formed you. You know, you're as old as time. You know, once you realize these certain things, you know, I don't know the history of a lot of stuff. I just go by with, you know, certain things I pick up and certain things I feel, and certain things in meditation. Y'all do that. You can really get some answers to a lot of things you need, down to where you can write it down, you know, like scripted. You could script down history and the past and medicines and anything you need, common sense, okay? But we've used common sense up right now, you know, seriously. Like, I know it's used up when you really do got little African boys walking around with no arms because they're digging for diamonds for American Africans.
That's what I'm saying.
That's twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's a complete sleepwalking mechanism right there. And then everybody says, like I said, they point fingers and stuff like that at America. Yeah, America brings war. Yeah, who gonna say something about it? Who gonna say something against it? What can anybody do? You know what I'm saying? It's the same way. You take our hoods and put them in your hoods, in the same situation, a whole different situation going on, you know? Take it without government policy or whatever, and no wars going on, but the streets are still the way they are because the way humans are raised in America, and put it to other countries, oh, y'all wouldn't last a week. Little boys would be robbing y'all for your shoes. You know what I'm saying? I know this. You know, the drive-bys would have you just on edge, but those drive-bys, I had to put it towards, like, the wars and stuff. The drive-bys are bigger over there, you know, but that's still us doing those drive-bys, you know, just in a different form, you know. So really, actually, war is like who said it? War is hell.
Yeah.
Bob Marley. No, John Lennon. Somebody said it.
Marvin Gaye. War is hell when will it end?
They all said it, because it is. You know, when you take a life, man, babies. I mean, we're dumb for sitting here letting it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what we do, how much we protest. When the lights come on, we got to go watch our TV show. We got to go to the studio. I got to go to work. You know, we don't go push the doors in and say, what's in these drawers, Mr. President or Mr. Leader? You know, what you hiding in here? I never got to come in here. I'm going to look and snoop in everything. You know, give me the keys to that jet. We paid for it. We don't do that, you know. We go home. So nothing happens, you know. That's true. We got, you know, we got all these music awards and stuff with America and all that and stuff like that. Do any of them really say, how many times do you say no more? How many came up there and said no more war? You know, that little word. Words are powerful, you know. Words are very powerful. The things you can't see are the most powerfulest things in the world. Yeah. Red Bull is based on something you can't see. The Red Bull Academy is, you know. It's based, this right here is based on something you cannot see. Sound, music, you know. God. That's the best way you could put it. You know, the breath of life. And it travels on the airwaves of music and stuff like that, you know? So really, you guys all here right now while you're doing your thing and learning and everything like that, when you get to the peak of your music, put that little message in there to stop that war, you know? And if the war stopped, keep putting that message in there, because there will be other wars to come. You know, there's rumors of them also. And it ain't just wars that kill people, it's the wars that kill you inside also, you know? These things are true. I went to church for a while, and I had to run away from it, you know, because it was crazy. But you know what? I meditate a lot, you know, and you guys do music, so you guys are way up on the extra level of meditation than a normal human being. Yeah. Music is meditation, pure and simple, you know. No matter how you do it, you tap your foot, whatever, it puts you in a state of daydream, you know, and that's when you're daydreaming, you're looking at God, you know, because your mind is almost clear during them daydreams, ain't they? You know, think about it. And real quick, I got a little technique y'all do. You know, love is strong, right? Love is very powerful. Here's some things I used to trip out when I was a kid. I used to look in the mirror a lot. Ever stare in the mirror for a long time? You never look at yourself like that? Not for vanity's sake, just to trip out. You never make faces in the mirror? Ever split the mirror in half like that and do all that? Your eyeballs, you know, y'all don't do that? Come on, have some fun. God made us like that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, put it this way. You know when you stare at somebody that you love, even the person that you're in love with, intimate with, it's almost hard to stare at that person in the eyeball, eye to eye. Am I right? That's one of the worst things in the world to do, stare somebody eye to eye. It's just you feel like you're backing down or somebody's backing down from you or something like that. I'm going to stare this. But you even got to build yourself up to stare somebody in the eye. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what that is?
It's love.
But do you know what the core of that is? That's God saying hello to God. Yeah. That's how intense love is. It's powerful like that. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable to say the word because of the power behind it, you know? That's what we got to get at. That's what this music that we're doing is allowing people to look in the mirror. But back to the little practice I was saying, look at yourself in the mirror for a long time till it gets real uncomfortable. Because it will get uncomfortable after a while. You'll start thinking you're seeing things. You'll start thinking you're seeing your spirit. Because you do. Close your eyes on that feeling when you do that. There's God, your divine spirit. And there's no music in there. That's the sound of the universe. Yeah. And it's noisy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do that every once in a while. It's hard to do sometimes, but just do that. Do that with other people more often, you know? And guess what? You'll fall in love with them. Yeah. It ain't no physical thing like that. You'll actually, I've tried this stuff. Freaks me out. Like, oh, that's crazy, you know? But it really is true. That stuff is real, you know? And we do need to connect. We are all one. We all do breathe the same air, you know? If somebody's killing one of your brothers, then, you know, go stop them. If somebody's dismantling a piece of your home, ain't you going to go outside? Hey, leave that alone. Get off my building. You know? Just the same way when people do that at, my bad. You have to, basically, you have to expose and remove right now. We have to play the part of expose and remove. If somebody's doing something wrong to us and it might affect the children's future here, we have to speak up, even if we have to lay our lives down for it. And that's truth. And that's beyond the music, you know? That's about you guys, human beings and stuff. And that's the real deal, you know? I hope we can take this and pass this along a little bit because, maybe you guys pass along, oh, Dudley's crazy or whatever. Georgia and Dudley's tripped out. Yeah, we are, because compassion is open right now, and everybody has it, So right now we're just, shouting about it. Something exciting, you say something about it. Something that excites you, you say something about it. It's exciting that maybe we are coming to a new era in life. Maybe the Mayans were correct. You know what I'm saying? I really think they are. But when something excites me, I speak on it. I'll put it in record or something like that. When something excites you, go to the corner of your house and speak to it. Speak to everybody in your house about it. I am a spiritual being. I came here spiritual beings. It took two to make one. That's how it is. A co-creator in life. Yin yang or whatever you want to put it. All the books of religion, everything that y'all read, find the things that work, little practices that work in it. One of the great ones, love your neighbor like you love yourself. Ooh. That's a good one, huh? Sounds corny, don't it, too, huh? Because it comes out of a Bible. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. Simple things to do. The easiest things to do, ones that got the most profound work and spiritual work to do with it. And I'm telling you, that stuff works. I use these tactics. I give to the people on the street. You know why? Because for some magical reason, my other pocket gets full to give the next guy even more. Yeah. Constantly give and receive. These are things these are quantum physics things, man. Push and pull and stuff like that. Effect and effect, you know what I'm saying? These things is true. These things, scientists have broken this down, Scientology's, all that, those religions and stuff. They're like, man, I got to find God, So they get the atom and try to cut it open. I know. And they cut it open. Yeah, I know. And they found more space and vibration and light. You just keep going. So we are, deep down inside, we are connected completely. So if one of us allow murder to go on, we're all murderers too, So we're all playing a part in this killing right now. We are anyways, even though we want to deny it. Every time we start our car up, every time we leave somebody with a bad look, you killed his spirit. There's what kind of ways to kill things, We have to make everything grow and be happy. Yeah. And in fact, not even happy, just have everything at peace. Because happy takes energy as well as anger takes energy. So we're going to have everything still for a minute, And that's what we're going to try to do, right? Yeah. And honestly, maybe you guys might forget what I'm saying right now or what anybody says right now. But honestly, when compassion is open, it is love for everybody. And that's why I'm not afraid to say these things. I'm a shy dude, you know what I'm saying? I drank alcohol to be unshy. And then I got used to drinking alcohol until it almost killed me. So I had to stop it, because it's a poison that's marketed, And honestly, anything that's marketed that much, leave it alone. If anything, you look at the package, you don't know what it says, leave it alone because it's not made for you. It's probably not even of a vegetable product or a consumable product, it's not. And that'll kill you too. And fluoride and all that, Y'all know the deal, right? Y'all know about fluoride, right? Y'all know about fluoride? Many, many eons ago, men had the ability to astral travel. They spoke about it in many, many books. That's why they have the word astral travel. Fluoride has aluminum in it. It messes up with your circuitry when you dream. It messes up your dreams because your dreams are real. Your dreams are just as real as this. It messes up your dreams to the point where this is more reality than your dreams are. And your dreams is where you get your inspiration and your love. God, that's where God's at. Have any of you guys ever went to sleep and got stuck? Yeah, spooky, huh? Because you were stuck in between. That's real though. That's real stuff, y'all.
Anybody have any questions for Georgia and Dudley at this point?
Hello. You talked about your parents, how they helped you grow up, and how they played music. How do you think you would be if it weren't for them? Do you think that what we have is from the time we are born, no matter what, or that we have a procedure that others help?
I think that it's all the same, because we're always being born every day. You know what I'm saying? So there's new midwives that show up in our lives, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it's both. Like, had I not had the parents I had, I wouldn't be the same person, no. But I'd be the same person, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them things, you know? Because I pointed, I chose to have this expression. You chose to have this expression as you, you know? And I think that the chain of events that happen come to support who we are as our expression, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all to help it through so that we can be talking about something like what Dudley said at all, you know? Like, just to be here and to be open to love each other, like as if we was all growing up with each other, you know? And, as a result of being on the same planet, you know what I'm saying? But I think that, yeah, I think it would have been something close to the same. Yeah? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Anybody else?
You guys don't have to clap after every. President. Kill.
I may as well ask the question since I'm thinking about it. There's some earlier stuff that kind of creeped out before the Worth Nothing stuff. Would you speak on that a bit?
Okay.
Yeah, just like, I mean, because you brought up the Worth Nothing sessions as sort of like, the after going, being a knucklehead, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you would speak on the stuff prior to that.
Thank you. Because, sometimes I even forget, you know what I'm saying? For real, thank you. Thank you. Because, that stuff, I was, at real just writer, just feeling like I want to do this music and I was who I am right now, really. And it was about me returning to that, you know what I'm saying? And what my mindset was, okay, we're going to wake him up with the funk. We're going to make it funky, and we're going to give him hope, And all that music, that Love Again, all of that stuff, right? The Runway stuff, that was all me at the piano as a teenager, and just really discovering chords and, learning different things. That's where it came from, really. That kind of stuff was just really just applying what I felt inside and saying, maybe this music can carry it, That was like my first songs I wrote, those are my first.
It'll be out next year. Remastered.
Thank you for knowing about that, though. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's the church music. That's the church music.
Sometimes I get embarrassed by that music sometimes because, when you... Yeah, I know, right? I know. I don't have it with me right now. Dang.
You have the one with the piano, with the Rev speaking at the beginning? Yeah. The Rev. Y'all know who the Rev is, right?
The official one, man, because that one I don't have. See, I don't even have that one. I don't even have.
Hey, have you guys heard of the movie The Secret? Yeah? What y'all think about that movie? The Manifestation. Y'all know about that movie? Yeah. Y'all never heard about that movie? It's a big movie. It's real huge. It's what the people used to use to build empires back in the days, the power that they used, the manifestation power, that how empires were built and stuff, something like that, The Secret, about how the manifestation, thought, word, and deed process, putting it together and making things happen quicker for your life. How you wish you receive, what you wish for you might receive, be careful what that kind of thing, and actually making it work. Have y'all heard about that stuff? Yeah. Yeah, it was on Oprah and all that. That's her people, That the Rev, the one who stepped out of it, the one who don't do it no more, Bob Proctor and all them still doing it and everything to get their money on. The Rev stepped away because he was there just to give a message of oneness and spirituality and stuff. And then it got big, it got carried away. To where Puff Daddy and all them got interested in, Michael Jackson, stuff like that, So there's a big spiritual thing happening right now, It's a movement. It's a wake up. People are waking up, I guarantee that right now, You can't sleep when somebody else is in the house awake. They're going to make noise. They're going to be tripping over things on purpose sometimes, You notice when you sleep and somebody's awake, the noise gets a little, talking gets loud, they don't care no more. Like, you're going to get up too. And that's what happens. It's a natural response. That's evolution. That's growth. You know, we are going to look out for each other no matter what. You know, we have to. But there's some bad seeds in the bunch who want to keep this the positivity, something like unity apart. You know, like think about it. Bush is tripping. You know what I'm saying? That dude's off the hook right now. But it ain't just him. Look at his face on TV. You know, somebody's telling him what to do. When sometimes he even does it like, what did I do? You know, all of them are doing that now. Like, dang. You know, and there's still a few that's like, hey, keep going. You know. We don't care. Rumsfeld and them, you know what I'm saying? They're tripping. But hey, every other leader's tripping too. Power makes anybody drunk.
Yeah, I could play.
Oh, can we play some crazy new stuff? Y'all hear some funky stuff? That's experimental, highly experimental.
We got a couple more questions.
Okay.
First things first, I want to say that the love you all share and show for us between the two of you, the harmony there, that's the music I want to take away with me. So thank you for that, first of all.
Thank you.
And
Sister Claudia right here, she don't play.
you talked about temporal colonialism before. How do you escape that with your music? Do you play with different time signatures?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
For me, I believe that there's bigger time than just 4/4 or 3/4 or 6/8 or 7/9 or 2/18. You know, any time signature. For myself, the way I free myself is to start in the moment every beat I play. Every single beat's for God, you know. And sometimes in the music, maybe it'll speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. And that's the expression it take, you know. But, you know, the biggest thing I try to keep in mind is just to keep it from an organic place in my soul, you know, and not to be, you know, working in the framework of quantization, like so that my music is being corrected in a certain, you know what I'm saying?
Do you have any examples of that?
All of it, everything you've heard.
So it's
Everything
all
you
in there,
heard
just
is all
study
just
it and you hear it. All right.
everything is that. And you know, as far as different time signatures, when I was like in the doing more, when I was first writing as a young songwriter, you know, I used to never use 4/4, never. And it would have 2 different bridges, girl, like everything, you know. But I used to always be trying to find my own time signature, writing things in 9, you know, 17, 15, all that stuff, because I used to listen to all types of music. I still do, you know. But I found that that there was a tradition in need of my carrying on, you know, and to join a tradition, you know, of you know, getting rooted, you know, in the 4/4, and having a new appreciation, because there's new idioms that can live within just 4/4, because there's no such thing, you know what I mean? Because every moment is new. Every moment is new. So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. That's true. Thank you.
Dudley, you spoke about the Joe Camel thing and you know, kind of marketing to kids and these sing-song kind of songs. And in Georgia, you talked about like how people aren't always feeling the funk. And I'm just wondering if it's frustrating to have a message that's so positive and so light, but have it kind of surrounded with a musical kind of darkness like that not everybody is instantly getting, because a bit of it is more acquired, and it seems like the stuff that you guys hate is the opposite of that. It's darkness within a really sugar-coated kind of easily accepted sound, you know? And I'm wondering if you could speak on that at all.
We can't hate on it. We're not hating on it at all. You know, it's just what people choose to do. You know, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to front. Yeah, there's times where I get frustrated. Yeah, you know, because, you know, that there'll be times when you look and then you see, okay, this is, you know, you look up in the source, right? And as a sister, you know, the only sister I see is somebody who don't play no music. It's like, dang, you know, it's not like she got to go anywhere, but like, where's somebody else got to be here? You know what I'm saying? I feel that way sometimes, and I feel like, you know, when they do that throwback, you know, article, when the whole thing should be that, and then adding here's who's new, you know. But then they have the throwback article where there's somebody who's here right now that's talking the truth. You know, I don't like that. I'll say it right now because I think that there's a lot going on, and you know, kids is just worried about finance, and it's like, man, there's not gonna be a lot of that. It's not. It's like that's just so paper thin. It's so see-through. So it's just like, first I get frustrated. First we get frustrated, and then after that I go into meditation. You know, so that I can keep those people surrounded in light, so I don't be slacking on my thing. You know. But that's all right. You know.
It's kind of cool too, though, because it always keeps us employed. You know,
Yeah.
always. You know, we always got something to do because of that. You know, because it is real. We're gonna do this till we die. You know, straight up. And when the music stops, we're gonna still be trying. You know, or still going forward with what we're trying to do. You know, there will be peace on earth, even if the earth has to stand still first. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some form of it. You know.
Yeah. Thank you for recognizing.
I got
that,
a
though.
question, actually. I wanted to ask Georgia about if anyone knows the Platinum Pied Pipers out of Detroit. They had a highly acclaimed album of that year, and I just wanted to know how you got involved with it, and if any doors were opened because of it, or that's about it.
Yeah. Really, how that happened was through the DJ that you mentioned, DJ Jamad. He hooked that up. You know. Really, that was my first, like, say, hip hop gig. First, you know what I'm saying? Saying like somebody's getting, okay, this is a hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying? Because usually I was just experimenting, you know, experimental people. Sometimes I get paid for my gigs, sometimes I didn't, you know. But I'd always be, you know, expressing myself. And that's when I had just finished the Worth Nothings record, you know. But as far as them opening doors, it's like, you know what? All of it opened doors, you know, all of it, you know, to see what I could do, what I was capable of, you know, because at that point I had ADD, you know what I'm saying, musically, I had musical ADD, so when I heard a song that had one chord through the whole thing, I couldn't fathom it, you know, so it did bring something to the table, you know what I'm saying, but I mean, just the way people reacted to it and responded to it, I never thought that people would even know the, you know, I was just there for the music, like, hey, man, he's a good brother, you know, about to, you know, pay me for the song, you know, and it, you know, it really grew, and, you know, I wish the best to them brothers and sisters, man. They doing good stuff, you know. For me, I just had an urgency in my side, inside of myself, man. The chomp pump. I had an urgency in myself to you know, strive for more, you know what I'm saying, strive for a higher message, you know, because I'm too silly, man. Like, it's like I speak my mind every time, so it's just like I wasn't going to just talk about the same stuff no more and just strive to be cool by clowning. And I'm just on it. It's just like what Dudley's. I couldn't say it better than how he put it, you know, because there are people dying right now. So I wanted to shift my attention to another place, you know. But I am, man. Everybody that I've met along this musical journey, it's been a blessing, you know.
Cool. Thank you.
You know.
Anybody else?
All right.
All right, well, one more.
Okay.
Thanks. I just want to ask Dudley a question, if that's okay. I was going to ask about your transition from doing stuff under the name Declaim to under your own name, Dudley Perkins. You've said you've always felt you had a message to put across to people. Do you think the slowing down of your vocal delivery you found it easier to put that message across, or even that people started to listen more, just from the actual change in your vocal style? I know you still rap, but obviously it's a bit slower. And
I don't know. I didn't really see it as a big change because in my music, I figured singing anyways. I just, you know, I'm not really like they say in the magazines, if you read them, I'm not a great rapper or singer. So I just made up my own thing. You know what I'm saying?
You are an ill
And
rapper,
so,
though, right?
you know, my name is Dudley Perkins, when my mother gave me. So when I did the singing, I just wanted to, you know, a lot of the topics on that album were, I was going through a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like a few of my albums, when I do an album, something was going on. You know, so it shows a lot of things have been going on in my life. So, but it's like something profound that I have to speak on it in the music. You know, I don't have to, but what else am I going to do when my whole life is based on that? When I get up, I go do music. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm talking about God or music or something like that. So it actually just goes hand in hand. So when I spoke up as Dudley Perkins, I was just more like, you know, because I was speaking to my mom at the time. You know, I was speaking to some of my family members who passed, or, you know, me actually trying to get better in my life and stuff. In fact, a lot of my records are me letting go of ego.
Yeah.
You know,
For
so
real.
in the last album on Stone Throw Expressions was me completely letting go of ego. You know, because a lot of my albums I've had to deal with it. I'm a b-boy, MC. I beat you rapping. You know, ego. You know, and I had to get away from that if I'm going to really give a pure message to civilization. Actually, you know, through this music. So Dudley Perkins was just letting them know, hey, I'm human too. You know, I'm just not no name Declaim, but Declaim is my name that I gave myself, and it actually means what I do. You know, if you look at the dictionary, it's an actual word in the dictionary. I just made it an E to make it official, you know. But it means to recite speech in a grammatical, poetical fashion with rhetorical effect, and that's what I do. I speak to the people that way, and I've been doing that since day one. But I happen to talk about God, you know. So, and I know by fact, and by my time in the industry, what I talk about is not good for your finance. Because I've heard labels, actually every label I've worked with told me to dumb it down.
They say it.
They told me you preachy too much and this and that, you know. But guess what? I still drop records, and every label who said that when I left them, look at their history now. They're almost non-existent, you know. You don't mess with God. I don't care who you are. You know, you don't mess with the divine spirit that brought you. I ain't talking about God as in a man form or nothing like that with a big long beard or nothing like that. I'm talking about your heartbeat and stuff like. You don't mess with another person, stuff like that. You keep it real. Completely, and as long as I do that, hey, you step on me, you stepping on God, because I'm God body, and I know this. You know, I follow these rules. I've done religions. I've done every one of them. You know, I've read every single book that y'all could think of, every self-help book. I carry a good one on my neck because I'm trying to make some money. You know what I'm saying? Even though these books are for fun, it's fun. You know, they're all Buddhism.
Yeah, baby, that's right.
You know, and little bit of Jesus talk. You know. But I don't, you know, I've studied these things. So when I did that, it was more of me looking at my duality, you know. MC gets away with a lot of crazy stuff, state things, smoke weed and stuff. Dudley Perkins, in the household of Dudley Perkins, you can't get away with a lot. You know, my mom still slapped me in the mouth for cussing or something like that, you know. So it really wasn't hard. It's still hard to get them to hear my message. That's why I do, like, when I see people, I give away so much music. You know, if I get labels, like when I'm working with, send me 500 boxes, I'm about to make me some side money. You know, I give them all away by the stacks. You know, somebody come out and say, there's 30 of them, give them to your friends or somebody who needs it. You know, just like that all the time. So I don't make the money doing this. I make money doing shows sometimes.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I might as well sell
That's
weed
where
or
it's
something. You know,
That's where it's at.
you never know. You know, but actually, I mean, I came to Earth with this. You know, when I came here, I drew pictures. I'm an artist. You know, I actually paint and stuff, you know, every single form of paint. That's what I went to college for and everything. So I came to Earth doing that. I didn't learn that stuff, you know. I didn't learn anything here. I don't know much, you know. So I know when I say my message, I don't get the message from the books that I read. I just go by what I've seen and then actually I let it flow. Remember, you know when you're in churches sometimes and the preacher go on and that's when the good sermon popped off? He was flowing. Like when the basketball game and Jordan got crazy with it in the zone, that's flowing. You got to connect like that with God.
Yeah.
Automatically,
Yep.
you know, it's just remembering to connect, and then that's when all that beautiful stuff happens. Have y'all heard of homegirl? What's her name? The little girl.
Akiana.
Y'all know y'all got a Jesus girl on planet right now, right?
Akiana, she's crazy.
Have y'all heard of her? Akiana? Y'all never heard of her?
She's a child prodigy painter. She's Renaissance.
You know,
painter.
some people are born with gifts and stuff.
Like
Like they
little
could do
girls,
special things. This kid came through the tunnel playing the piano, like, you know, all the crazy people, you know, classical piano. Kids come through there doing that because they left last time doing that. You know, you bring that stuff with you. This girl came through with a God connect. You know, picture having that. Completely connected to the divine. That's her gift. So every word she says is of poetry. Everything she speaks on and does is the greatest effect. She'll draw your face big as this wall without thinking of it at the age of 4. You know, she's 12 years old now. You know what I'm saying? And her poetry is some of the most profound poetry.
Yeah, she bad.
Deepak Chopra and all them, and the prophet
Can't hang.
can't hang with this little girl,
Can't hang.
little blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl. has no religion in her system. Her parents don't even go to church.
Atheist.
Tripping off of her, you know? And she's speaking on what God looks like and everything she talks about, humanity, abortions and stuff like this. Little kid, you know? There's tons of them, but not actually with that connect. When you look at even on a picture of her, the Holy Spirit pop up on your arm and stuff just by feeling her energy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the Holy Spirit when it pop up on the chill bumps, you know what I'm saying? And if it's a good, profound thing being done, I be following, I watch, I'm curious, man. I be seeing, I go to churches just to see the glow on the dude's head if there's gonna be one. Go to Common shows sometime when he's really talking and not talking about girls and personal relationship. He glows a little bit. You know, that's why he has a #1 record out. You know, his heart is actually open for, he's been building it up for a long time. If you work at something, eventually it's gonna take form in your life, you know? If you lift weights for a long time, you're gonna go to them weight stack one day and just knock it over, blah, without thinking, on accident even. You know, you're gonna pick up things on accident you never knew you could lift if you keep working it. You opening your heart constantly and constantly, even if you're just playing with it, eventually that's gonna have an effect, which is an open heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like you do the work, you'll get the effect afterwards, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta put in the time. You can't just, it ain't no quick thing to that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people wanna get there quick, you know, it ain't happening. I tried it. Quick enlightenment only allows you to fall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you try to read them books and clear your chakras and go to them things and try to get all that stuff popping off, I'm going to get to God quick. You know? You will get there.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that knock on the door will happen. Where you floating outside your body and you see the chakras profound and the colors, that's why they know how to color them suckers. You know what I'm saying? You'll get there. But if you do not follow that, what you just made a pact with at that moment, you will fall. It ain't no fall like, I'm falling, and you just be a bum on the street all jacked up and stuff. Excuse me for saying it. But it's a fall of a feeling that a feeling or something that you will miss. And you will know this time that you missing it. It ain't like before just missing it because you just didn't remember. You remember your friend that you forgot about before. Because when you got to that point, that was saying hello to your soul and remembering that. You know, remembering that feeling that whatever came here with you to bring you here that safely, you was with that, and it's always been there with you, but you just turned your back on it, you know? But when you go to that point where you're like, heart is completely open, because, you know, the books describe it crazily. A lot of men could describe it crazy. The tears out the side because the well's full, it's nonstop, and you're like, there's no emotion with it. You're like, why am I crying like this? Because you was giving praise for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and you got caught away like that, and the tears come. That's the knock on the door. When you don't follow that knock on the door, say the next day, oh, man, I just went through that crazy show. Or smoke a joint, there's the fall. Okay? Instantly. And that's what they was telling you. And the fall is intense. I smile and laugh and joke a lot because I am still in the midst of that fall. Only way out of that fall, you know, say you fell into a hole that never ends. On the walls of this hole is stainless steel slick walls with oil. You have no fingernails, no clothes, no other way to get out of it, and you're falling in that. How else will you get out of there? How else can you get out of that? All right, look at it like superhero style. How would you get out of there? Fly out of there, right? Mm-hmm. And then we know in history and everything, what's the only way to fly? Wings. So that's when you get back on the path, you say goodbye. When you find it next time, because everybody does get a chance on earth to do this. The Jesus walk and Buddha walk. I have my chance to do this. So now I had to give myself a new title, a warrior of light, because I messed that one up. Next time I get it straight is when I pass. This is real, man. I'm serious. Ask anybody about that stuff. Ask, you know, they just don't put it in that way. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it from my experience of it. Mm-hmm. And this is my words of it, not the thus, thou, or thee. We can't understand that, you know. That was their autobiographies and experience, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Write your own. But when you get to that point, stay there. Please, stay there. We need somebody to stay there. When the earth is in turmoil, when the Mother Earth is in turmoil, it calls out for people like that, you know? And there's millions of them. It ain't just one person. There's millions of them. There was trillions of Jesuses. There was trillions of Muhammads. There still is, you know? There's a gang of these deities and Buddhas and stuff like that all over. Every one of them, every one of you is one of them, you know? It's just to choose if you want to get off the ego horse
and not, you know, be embarrassed by it, you know? Because some people tend to be embarrassed by spirituality or something like that. It's not cool. You're going to do it on Sunday, you know? And woe is me if they see me coming out to church on Sunday. I just ain't going to look good smoking weed on the corner with the homies Friday, you know? And we have that little problem with us, you know? So if we get past that right there, that makes everything a lot easier right there also, you know? I'm just talking crazy.
Hey, you talking
My bad.
real. You
Well,
talking
we're going to
real.
wrap it up now, but I just want to say thanks to Georgia and Douglas for being here.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Chairman Mao.